Okay, tonight, hopefully we conclude and we finish the challenge of getting a satellite network around Sarnus using an SSTO. Of course, the SSTO is not coming back, but, you know. If it was coming back, that'd be way cooler, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be way cooler? I really wish we could have done that. That would have been great. Okay, so I need Sarnus McSarn face. You are now in orbit around Sarnus. A very eccentric orbit, but that's okay. That's actually, I think, kind of the way we want it to be. It makes delivering the satellites a little bit easier. Maybe not positioning them just right, but it's going to make at least getting them deployed, systematically deployed and stuff. It's going to make that part a little bit easier, I think. So let's go ahead and fly this thing. I'm going to have to turn the music back on because I actually have the music in the game. The in-game music is off. I just recorded my next episode for KSP. I finished the recording today, and I have the music turned off for those recordings. I'm going to try that from now on and then just add KSP music in post and see if that helps me a little bit, because that's one of the reasons why I tend to have music tracks behind the speed ups and stuff like that, and it's usually got to be very different than the game audio because the game audio doesn't really come in very clearly when you're speeding up clips. Tends to sound like a really demented circus a little bit. So let's turn the game audio back on. Let's get... I got something in my eye. I'm going to take these off. I can't keep them on. How are we doing in the chat tonight? Man, we got... let's see. Nice headphones. Yeah, thanks. I like it. What else we got here? Yeah, you can be banned. Goodbye. And you are a spammer. You can go away. And you can go ahead and get yourself removed as well. Okay, cool. Like it. Awesome. Wonderful. Now, let's turn the music back on. How about right about here? That's better. We'll crank the sound up a little bit. Oh, man, something's still in my eye tonight. Wow. Get out of my eye. I don't know what you are. The drink of choice tonight is Oberon. Because you have to have something after a long day. And that's what I got right now. Okay, so to get the satellite network deployed, what we're going to be doing is I am going to wait until... Because I don't think we're losing any power. No, we're not losing any power right now because of all these wonderful Shibas in the cockpit. So what we're going to be doing tonight is I'm going to get the satellites to where they are lined up with the sun. Because at the end of the last stream, you might remember, the sun's not showing up. Oh, we have a terrible looking sun. Can I fix it? The sun looks awful. Doesn't that look awful? Gross. What happened to the mods? Hold on. If I go back to the tracking station, I don't want to do this if it doesn't look good. If it doesn't, if going back to the tracking station doesn't fix the problem, then I'll just do it. But like, kind of want my sun to be a thing. See, look how beautiful that looks. That looks way better. Can I have that instead? I'd like to have that instead. Sarnus McSarn face. Let's load it again. Jerry Wang, welcome to the stream, buddy. First time catching a live stream. Well, thanks for stopping by. I hope I don't disappoint. I don't think I will. It's pretty interesting to me anyway. And if it's not interesting to you, well, at least I'll have fun. All right, so our sun? Yes, we have a good-looking sun now. Okay, that's good. Now, what I want to do is I want to wait till this craft is directly between Sarnus and the sun, which is right about here. And then once it gets to about here, which is actually kind of like where Elu. Yeah, it's almost Elu's sphere of influence, I feel. So once we get there, I'm going to deploy the first satellite. Actually, before I deploy the satellite, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of them. Is this one off already? Okay, this one's off. So I might deploy this one first. Because the ComTech is already off on this. I just have to make sure that this gets turned on. Which, I just hope it doesn't break. Let's activate the Communitron 32. Now remember, we have a huge delay, right? We're over near Sarnus, so we have almost an 8-minute delay on everything we tell the computer to do. So I don't know why I'm able to control this whole vessel without a delay if I use WASD. I think it's probably because the probe that I'm using to control this big craft is not fully integrated with RemoteTech. Maybe that might be it. I don't know. It could just be like a Mark IV spaceplane system kind of thing. But as soon as I decouple all the satellites, each individual satellite will totally have all the delay. We found that at the end of the last stream. We found that. So we're going to have to work on that. Also, today, I'm trying it. I'm going to try it again because I really, really, really want to do it. I'm trying 1080p 60 frames per second tonight on the stream. So if you're able to watch in 1080p 60, let me know how it looks. Hopefully, my internet allows me to do that because, yeah. The sun is so far away. Do the solar panels still work? Yes, they just have reduced efficiency. They just have reduced abilities, but they still work. They definitely do. Let's time accelerate. Throttling back time warp Y. Oh, because now that, yeah, because that just happened. So this is deployed now. Good. So we should be able to launch this and still have control of it. But the solar panels need to have direct sunlight, right? So at the end of the last stream, if you haven't watched the last live stream, that's fine. I'll fill you in just a little bit here. We're going to be deploying these satellites around Sarnus within the Sarnus's rings, right? Sarnus is massive, all right? We are currently, what is our altitude right now? Like 26 million meters away. Like 26,041. Yeah, there you go. 26,041 kilometers. So we're 26 million meters away. And that's how close it looks. I mean, it's massive. And we're going to be putting satellites, probably 6 of them, in orbit around Sarnus, all around the rings. And these are our satellites we're going to be deploying. 1, 2, 3. We have another one here that's 4, 5. And then we've got these 2, 6, 7. We got these 2 right here that have the big dishes on them. These 2 are going to be on alternate sides of Sarnus. We're going to try to get these to be exactly, to where if they were looking at each other, they would basically have to look through the center of Sarnus. We're going to try our best as possible to get these 2 to be on opposite ends. That way, there's always at least one of them connected, because the goal is to have a consistent, always-on connection to the Kerbal Space Center. That was the goal. So let's get started with that. I got this out already, so now it's just a matter of getting this in position. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because if the CommTech is on, the satellite starts to run out of power. And we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to just kind of do this. We're going to move ourselves a little bit closer to Sarnus. And right about almost here. Now my hope is, let's just go a little bit further. Just a little bit closer. Stop. All right. That looks pretty close to where I'm ready to deploy. My hope is that I'll be able to have the solar panels point directly at the sun instead of being at an angle. Last time we did this, the solar panels were at an angle. We don't want that because they're not as efficient. They don't get as much power. We need them to be pointing directly at the sun so they get as much power as possible. So let's get started with this. We're going to deploy this, decouple. That's going to take 7 minutes and 56 seconds. Then we're going to have to give a command to this little probe here. So if I say, let's just say, what is the flight computer doing right now? It's killing rotation. Okay, so let's say I control from here. And then I want to, right about now, I think is probably an okay time. I want to extend all the solar panels. Right about now. Okay, so that's going to happen 20 seconds after our decouple. So we're going to let loose from the cargo bay, and then these are going to decouple themselves. That's how that's going to play. So I'm going to go ahead and quick save it here. Even though I've already put the commands in, I can't cancel it now, so I'm committed to this one anyway, because I forgot to quick save, but whatever. All right, so let's just time accelerate a little bit here. All right, here we go. We are decoupled. We're not moving near fast enough. This is bad. Not moving fast enough. Is it gonna do all of the solar panels in here, or is it gonna do these? I thought this would decouple much faster. This is gonna be something else here. This is gonna be something else. It's gonna deploy these solar panels, and it's gonna deploy them into all this equipment. I thought that would be a much more, you know, yeah, that's what happened. Okay, so let's, how do I stop that from happening? I wonder if I need to, if I was to do this, let's say if I load game, let's load the persistent, because I didn't have a quick save before that. So that's a really, really weak ejection, which is different than the other satellite. The other satellite we did in the last stream had a much harder ejection. I mean, it was out of that cargo bay, but this time not so much. So I'm gonna have to have a much bigger delay on that to let that get a good distance away. Why not just stuff RTGs on the sats? Well, could have, but I didn't want to cheat. I mean, it's not cheating per se. The Shibas ended up being cheating anyway, and I didn't want that to be the case, but the Shibas ended up being a cheat anyway. But yeah, I mean, RTGs, I guess, could have been an option, but in general, they don't. For one, it adds more parts, but they also don't really. Is that command still in there? Yeah, that command is still in the flight computer, and I can't cancel it. So I'm gonna have to do. Well, let's try this. Let's try this. I can't cancel that command, so I'm stuck into this. So how about we go like, yeah, there's a big ass delay. God, I don't know how to get around this. How would I get around? I gotta turn my SAS, I gotta turn all this stuff on, and it's not gonna work. Like all those solar panels are going to deploy into this equipment. How do I stop that from happening? How do I get my camera to play nice? Aim camera, thank you. It's not really what I wanted you to aim at, but there we go. How do I stop that? Because that's a problem. I'm curious on how to do that. I don't think there is a way for me to stop that from happening. I don't think there is a way to do that. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Is there a way to actually do this, or am I already gonna lose one satellite? Because this does not deploy. This is not going to deploy out of the cargo bay. And even if I turn my RCS on in time, which I can't, like I'm literally stuck in this right now because of the delay. Unless. Okay, so I have instantaneous control of this craft. I have instantaneous control of this plane. But I don't have instant control of all this other stuff, right? That's the way it was last time. So it doesn't look like it's the case anymore, though, because that's actually not allowing me to toggle RCS and all that stuff anymore. But I can still rotate. It's still letting me do rotation. So if I rotate as this thing's about to eject, that should help it along, right? That should help it come undocked. I can't increase ejection. I can't do anything to it. That's, like, I'd love to increase ejection power, but I can't do that on a solid state decoupler. It is the way it is from the manufacturing. However, and even if I could, it would still take a delay to activate, and that delay would happen after it already, has done its thing. So I'm going to have to rotate this at the right time to give it a little bit more force and kick it away from the craft so that it can be far enough away to deploy those solar panels. I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to do this. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's time accelerate until the decoupler. And we'll see what happens here. So right about, 10 seconds for decouple. 10 seconds. And let's get up and start rotation. No, don't break the panel. Come on, go. Go. I bumped you. Oh, this is going to be tough. I don't think it's going to work. It's not getting away from me. Get away. Get out the door. No. Get out. Come on. Don't break. Whoa, no. I was on the right track, though. I think that's what we need to do. I need to do that. I could always go back to the deployment save. I have the deployment save. I think I'm going to do that. Right here. I think I'm going to go back to the deployment save because that's clearly a mistake. That's an action taken with the understanding that something's going to happen the way I think it's going to happen, and it didn't happen. So we'll try this again. This is great practice for my Conquering KSP series. Like, Jesus, this is totally a mission failure in that game. If I'm doing this in the regular series, this is totally mission failure. Start over. Like, that's terrible. Okay, let's try this again. This time, same thing. We're going to get up to the point where we're going to be lined up for the sun, and Sarnus is going to have to be lined up. So right about almost. And the reason I want them lined up is so that I can take the satellite and point radial in, right? And that will force the satellite to point directly at Sarnus, which in turn is pointing directly away from the sun, which in turn will put the satellites facing directly at the sun. That's the object anyway. Okay, let's try this again. F5. Hey, thanks for the subscription, man. Appreciate it. All right, here's what we're going to do then. First thing, I want the camera to be pointing at the right stupid thing. All right. This has no ejection force at all. Like, it's pathetic. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to deploy this. Let's activate. And I need to see the flight computer, okay? That's going to happen in 7 minutes and 52 seconds. Then after you deploy, I want you to activate... No, don't activate the engine. I want you to decouple. Okay, now we're going to have to give this thing a lot of time before it spreads its solar panels. So let's time accelerate a little bit. I'm thinking like... Whoops, that's a lot of time. Okay, let's have it do the solar panels now. Extend all solar. And then I want to control from here, obviously, but... So it should extend the solar panels after about 7 minutes. This is going to deploy right about now. There it is. And then it'll decouple, and then 7 minutes after it decouples, then we'll get the solar panels out, which will be nice. Okay, so it's out now. Good. I can also move the plane back a little bit, because I still have instant control over the plane. It's going to fight me because of kill rotation being what MechJeb knows, but I can still, like, kind of do it with W. But, like, look at this thing. It doesn't even... It's not moving away at all. MechJeb, I need you to stop. Where are you? Hang on. What's my camera pointing at right now? Reset camera. There we go. Wow, all the weight's in the back. Yeah, that's a thing. See if we can give this thing a little nudge. Can we give you a little nudge? Okay. I guess don't then. Come on, give it a nudge. Come on. Just a small little nudge. There we go. Get away from us. Oh, no, you're coming back way too fast. Stop. Oh. Okay, good. Whew. No, what are you doing? No, stop. No. Oh, my. All right, MechJeb, you're cramping my style big time, man. All right, it wants to keep it. MechJeb wants to keep it like this, and so it's been fighting me the whole time. But now at least this thing is out of our way, and the solar panels aren't going to break anymore. Cool. Let's switch to that craft. I am still controlling from here, obviously. And what I want to do now, flight computer, I want you to face radial in. And what that's going to do, hopefully, is it's going to make you point directly at Sarnus, which means you'll be pointing directly at the sun in the other direction. Like your engine stuff will be pointing directly the other way. So let's time accelerate a little bit here. Yep, a little bit. More. Okay, solar panels are out. Everything is good. And let's go ahead and get you pointed radial, please. That's the wrong direction. I need to go in. Okay, then. Wait, am I in... That doesn't seem right. Am I in Elo's sphere of influence right now? Oh, that's not even right. It's too... We went too far. Hold on, let's see what happens. I hope I'm not in Elu's sphere of influence right now, because that kind of spoils the plan. Elu's right there. I don't think I'm close enough to Elu yet. Okay, let's see what kind of exposure these solar panels have. 96, 97, good. Okay, we have some of them that have in the 90s and 100. 84, 84. It's not quite as good as I'd like. Let's turn it off for a second. Now, what direction do I have to go? Probably. What are you facing? All right, you know what I want you to do? I want you to make Sarnus your target. Can you do that? Probably not. There's nothing I can make my... Hold on, hang on. Let's try this. Let's see if we can make Sarnus the target somehow. I don't think so. No. It's not what I want to do. I want to click on Sarnus. Yes, make his target. Now it says no target. Okay, I need a target that's directly away from the sun. There isn't any. All right, well, I'm going to have to eyeball it then, which is going to be difficult to do with an 8-minute delay. Like, really difficult to do. But if I go up a little bit, let's say like this, and then I hit kill rotation, I wonder what that will do. That's going to be difficult. Let's see what happens. Flight computer's going to turn off. Okay, now that's not the direction I told you to go at all. Oh, shit. No. It's going the wrong way. Okay, I need to go back this way then. So let's go... That doesn't make any sense. All right. Let's turn you off again. 7-minute delay. This is tough. This delay stuff is really, really hard. Okay, I need you to... I don't know which direction to push on the control. I guess it's gonna have to be... You are slowly rotating right now, actually. Hang on, you're slowly rotating. There's still gonna be a 7-minute delay. Okay, I got an idea. It's kind of cheap, but I got an idea. Let's keep this going in physics time warp. This thing's gonna rotate a bit. There's Elu. Hi, Elu. Hi, Elu. Am I in Elu's sphere of influence right now? I'm that close to Elu, and that's not considered an Elu sphere of influence. There it is. Okay, here's what I'm going to try and do. This is going to be kind of cheap because you wouldn't be able to do this in real life, but what I'd like to try is like this. I'm going to push this and let this kind of flail around. It's going to take 8 minutes for that to happen, but let's just kind of time accelerate a little bit. I don't know how to make this thing react how I want it to. But the goal is I'm going to make this thing just flail around. And then when it gets pointed where I want it to point, at that point, I'm going to time warp, which is going to lock it in place. Then I'm going to tell the flight computer to kill rotation, and that should keep it locked in place. That's the idea. I'm going to use the game. It's the rules of the game. I'm going to use that to my advantage here. So is that going to happen? That's the thing. When is that flailing around going to happen? Because it took forever. It takes forever for the signals to get there. So I need you to start rotating here, Mr. Satellite. Can I get you to do that? I don't know if I can. It doesn't look like I'm gonna. It looks like I'm gonna have to actually do this in real time, because as soon as I go to the time acceleration, I think it's canceling my commands. Let's try 4 times. Oh, there it goes. Okay, good. So now we're flailing around. That's what I wanted. Good. So let's come out of time warp. You're not gonna go in a line like this, are you? Like I put you in several different directions. I was kind of hoping you would go in several different directions. This appears to be the direction you've chosen to go. Okay, let's do 4 times physics time warp. See if I can get this thing to change directions so that it's facing away from... It needs to face the sun. It's getting very close, but it's not quite there. Almost. Almost. Right about... Like... Oh, it's just not quite right. Come on, man. Come on, satellite. You gonna change direction? I did give you the signal to do that. I need you to change a little bit here, Mr. Satellite. Come on now. This is so hard. You guys have no idea how hard this is. This is like trying to tell your satellite manually to do something, then wait 8 minutes, watch it do it, then try to time something else that it's just, this is like impossible with a 7-minute delay, 8-minute delay. I would find this difficult to do with a 20-second delay, but this is a bit overboard here. Okay, we've got rotation. That's what I wanted. I want rotation. So now I'm getting, I think, the proper rotation now. So let's just wait, and then we're going to do a time acceleration right as the satellite gets to where I want it to point, right about there. Ooh, did I go a little too early? It's a little early, but I think it'll work. Okay, let's tell it to kill rotation. And I think that'll work. Let's see what we got. 1, 98, 99. It's pretty much perfect. Pretty much. That'll work. So let's time accelerate to the kill rotation. Now the flight computer should keep this locked in place. So with the flight computer keeping this locked in place, now it's time to test to see whether or not it has enough electricity, enough electrical charge, coming in. We're actually not gaining anything right now, which is a little bit disturbing. Why are we not gaining anything? We should be gaining electricity right now. I'm not convinced that our satellites have enough electric charge here. Not convinced. But let's activate the ComTech. Yeah, it's still going to drain. It still doesn't have enough power. Shit. It still doesn't have enough power, you guys. There's not enough solar panels on this. I could have swore this was going to be fine. There isn't. It's not going to be fine. The satellite's going to be completely dead. It's not going to be able to do its job. What can I do about this? What can I do about this? How can I tell what's draining power? Can I tell what's draining power right now? What is draining power? The Shiba rocket motor is actually not giving me any... The Shiba rocket motor is no longer giving me charge. Why? Oh, the Shiba's alternator is here, but it's not giving me anything. Oh, you know what? It's not giving me anything because it's not activated. I have to stage it. I bet that's what it is. Do I have enough power to do this now? I don't think I do. I think this is gonna die. I think my power is gonna die. Can I put any in reserve? How about we put some power in reserve? How about I can transfer the reserve power to main. How much do I have in reserve? 24 seconds. That Jesus, this is gonna be extremely tough because I don't think there's enough power for it to survive until the command goes through. It's gonna be close. Not as close as I thought it was gonna be, actually. Come on, Shiba. I need you to turn on. I think I need to stage you in order for that to work. I think. Still not working. Unbelievable. No, you're not giving me any... I just staged it and it didn't work. Are you kidding me? I just staged it and it didn't activate. Now it's not going to. We're going to run out of power now. Let's transfer reserve to main. Let's give this as much power as we can. It's not going to matter. The signal's going to go away too much. Ship electric charges drop below the warp point. Yeah, I know that. Come on. This is ridiculous. Nope, it's going to run out of power before the command can go through. And it's dead. It's dead 10 seconds before the command could go through. Okay, so the Shiba's on now. Somehow it's still staged. But the alternator doesn't have any output. So it's actually not outputting any energy right now. Yes, I'm looking at comments, but I'm also focused on this. Just tell it to do everything you want while the signal's traveling and then just sit back and watch. Duh. Like, that's what I have to do. You can't do anything else other than sit back and watch with the signal. That's the whole point. Is the signal, like, but it kills you. You can't just tell it to do what you want because it doesn't do it. Like, you can't say point this way because you have to wait 8 minutes to see exactly how much, you know, you held down WASD or whatever. You have to wait 8 minutes to see how long your press did. But then hopefully you timed your kill rotation command properly to have it. It doesn't work that way. Same thing with all this stuff. The power... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How do I still have a signal to you? My battery's dead. How do I still have a signal? Let's deactivate this. Somehow I still have a signal? Is it just... Does it have like an essential power only kind of thing where it only... Maybe it has an essential power thing. Hold on. If I time accelerate some more, it's still not enough. Like, even with the ComTech off, it's not generating enough power. which is the opposite of what it was doing before. This has me I'm very confused by this. But somehow I still have a connection to it. Even though it's out of power, I have a connection. It's really bizarre. Let's schedule a maneuver then. I don't know. Why not? Add maneuver. Tell it to go retrograde. It has about 1,000 meters per second in the tank, so it should be able to get where it needs to go. And we'll just do it by however we can. See if we can circularize our orbit around this point. Right about like that. Just do it right at periapsis. So this would be basically circularized. Point to the node and execute the maneuver. I don't know how I still have a signal to you, but I do. Even though you have no power, you have no charge, but yet I still have a signal. It's really bizarre, but okay. Time accelerate. It's going to point towards the node. It's still moving. It's more than able to move. It's capable of it anyway. Now I have no connection. Now I just lost the connection. Now I have it back. So weird. Okay. I guess we can play it like that. It's really bizarre. We'll get closer to our maneuver here. I definitely have a few things to learn about Sarnus and about handling this with RemoteTech, because this is... I'm going to have to, like, make absolute certain, you know? Like, I did this with Ampere. I measured this all out with Ampere before we left, when I was building the things and everything seemed to be fine. But I didn't count on the fact that... I don't know, I guess I didn't count on the fact that the Shiba's supposed to have an alternator output, but it doesn't have one right now. I'm just wondering if that's because it hasn't actually fired. So doing this maneuver right here should give us electricity, because the alternator does exist while it's accelerating. So we should get more that way. So let's delete this. And as it's burning, we should get electric charge, but we're not. The alternator is not even outputting power. It's not even outputting power while it's thrusting. So I don't think the alternators work anymore. I don't think the alternators are working. If it is working, then it's giving me false readings. Somehow I still have power to this thing. Now I have no connection because I'm behind, like, Sarnus is there. But other than that, I have no connection. Somehow it's still going, though. It's still going to execute the maneuver. And we'll see what happens. I'm going to have this thing in a circular orbit around Sarnus now. I'm really, really confused by this. It doesn't make any sense that this thing should even be functioning without power. But it is. Totally is. Maneuver complete. Orbit is circularized. Almost completely circularized. Down to... There is a 6-kilometer difference between apoapsis and periapsis. So, yep, pretty much circularized. So, one satellite down. Don't ask me how. One satellite down. Now I need it to point at something so that it always faces away from the sun. Here, try this. Let's set you as the target. Yeah, set as target. And then we'll say target. Oh, I have no signal. Of course I don't have a signal. Okay, never mind then. Where is Sarny McSarden face? Right here. No. I want to switch to that, please. Can I not switch to it? Apparently not. Unless you're the one that I have to... Yeah, apparently you're the one. Okay. Switch to the plane. I know it said alternator disabled. What I don't get is why the alternator's disabled. It shouldn't be. It's always on. This is the whole reason why our plane has electric charge. Our plane has electric charge right now ongoing because of all these Shibas. And that Shiba is supposed to be pumping out electricity, but it's not. So, like, I don't know why. This one, generator nominal. Alternator output 0, 0, 0. Like, all of these are saying zeros. But yet, somehow, like, something's bugged with the power, essentially, is what I'm saying. Something is bugged with electric power. Yeah, they're all pumping 0. So if that's the case, then one of these little satellites, I shouldn't be able to do anything with the little ones either. The little ones that have here, let's try this. Yeah, technically we're losing power, but let's try another satellite. Let's try to deploy one of these little ones. How about this one? We'll go ahead and extend this antenna. I need to control from here, please. So we're going to extend this antenna. Then I want to decouple this. We'll see what kind of force that has. Antenna's out. And decouple. Can I have the camera aimed appropriately, please? All right, so that's not exactly facing exactly how I need it to face, but okay. Now I need to see if we can like roll into it a little bit. Encourage it to want to go that way. That would be the exact opposite way, physics-wise, that you should have traveled. What in the world? Yep, now it's the right way. Weird. Okay, this craft here, what I want you to do is I want you to extend your solar panels. Now, there's only 4 on these because there's no CommTech, but I'm starting to think that that's not even enough. We'll see. If I extend all solar here, it'll take like, I don't know how many minutes, but 7 minutes, I think, yeah. Probably the same as everything else. So I can, that's a really weird direction, but all right. Let's deploy another one, actually. Let's just get a couple of them out there. The problem with that, the worry about that is, like, once I get them to the point where they're out of range, now I need to program them and then set them loose. So I need to have, because this one doesn't have a big satellite, so this one has to be in range of one of the big dishes. And right now it's in range of both, but it won't be for long. So let's check the flight computer again. What I need to do is I need to point, well, I need to point that way. So how about I'll tell it to point retrograde. That might be the answer because we're heading, yeah, our orbit is heading this way. If I tell it to point retrograde, eventually it will line up, right? Eventually. I don't know if it'll line up with enough time left, but we'll see. I need the solar panels out. So let's get the solar panels out. Okay. There's the solar panels. Now, we have charge being generated or no? Or used? Used? Are you kidding me? That's impossible. That's absolutely impossible. If the alternators on the Shibas, which was the entire design, that's the entire reason I put the Shibas on there was because of the alternator. If the Shibas were doing something, and they're not, but if they were, we would have electricity being generated all the time by that, plus the solar panels, which aren't getting that bad of exposure. I mean, they could definitely be better, but they're not getting that bad of exposure. Okay. Tell it to point prograde, which hopefully is going to be better. Not really. No. It's not where I want you to point. If that's prograde, then there is no right direction for you. Let's just time accelerate here really quick. We are using power. I just don't understand how, but we are. This thing's going to slowly keep rotating. As we go around Sarnus, it's going to keep rotating. At what point does it get to where I need it to be? It's probably going to run out of power before we get there. So I really need something to point at. But there's nothing to point at. I could point straight ahead, but there's still not much to point at. Unless if I make the sun the target, with the little satellites, I bet if I made the sun the target. Let's make Duna the target for now. Duna's right behind the sun. So if I go right behind the sun and then I tell you to point directly at the target prograde, right? Point directly at the target. Will you point directly at the sun? Because with these satellites, it's just this tiny thing. It's not the whole dish, so it doesn't matter if we're pointing away from it or forwards. It just needs to point directly at it. Come on. Point directly at Duna for me. Yeah, there you go. Come on. Yes. That's what I needed. Kill rotation. Okay. Point directly at Duna. Perfect. 98, 99, 97. It changed nothing. It changed nothing about our energy consumption. It changed nothing about our energy needs. The electric charge is still the same. It's still going down. It's going down at basically the same speed as it was before. So bizarre. Like, what is using power? I don't have any power being used on these crafts. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, the solar panels are only bringing in 0.02 electric charge. What? Energy flow is 0.02. Yeah. Wow. Sarnus there is no solar energy out here then. Sheba rocket motor generator 0.5. It says it's doing it. So total produces 0.581, but total consumed. Oh, it's SAS. Hang on. Okay, hold on. Let's have this kill rotation. Okay, now if I was to 0.6 kill rotation, yeah. So SAS is using nothing now. I just wish I knew how to fix this. I don't think I can. I really don't think I can. I think this challenge fails. I mean, the math is pretty clear. I'm producing 0.58 of power and I'm consuming 0.62. So eventually all of my dishes will die. All of my satellites will die. Because this is only generating 0.02 electric charge when it's facing directly at the sun. I did not anticipate it being that weak. But it totally is. It's basically nothing. This is what I get for not being experienced, right? Like, I've never been this far away from Kerbin before. I've never been to an outer planet before. So I assumed it was going to be weak, but I didn't think it was going to be this weak. Like, this is basically non-existent. Which is why I had the Sheba. And the Sheba is apparently, according to this, the generator is doing 0.5, but the alternator is doing nothing. And the alternator is gonna keep doing nothing too. But the other satellite's also dead already, and yet it's still on. Right? I mean, it's over here somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's in the... This line is pointing to it. So the other one's dead, and it's still working. So, I mean, hell, I might as well schedule the maneuver and do it, right? So, let's do it. Let's get the maneuver started. And we're going to have... let's get this flight computer out of the way. Oh, well, if it's going to leave it on, then it's going to leave it on. I mean, I'm pointed directly at the sun, so whatever. Okay, so we want to schedule this maneuver, and we want to bring this in to where we are circularized around this. So let's bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Now, we only have 783 meters per second on this satellite, which is really unfortunate because I think I'm going to need more than that to circularize. Pretty sure I am. Yep, I am. So this satellite doesn't even have as much delta V as I thought it had. This is when you know, right? This is when you find the problems, is at the end of the mission. That's when you find out what you did right and what you did wrong. And what I did wrong is I didn't pack enough solar panels. I've got 6 satellites, so at any given moment, it's reasonable to assume at least one of them will be connected to Kerbin. So I got 7 satellites, I think. 7 satellites plus the plane, which won't have any power. So, Charlie, do you have the solar panel efficiency table? Solar panel efficiency table. Nope, I guess I don't. I don't know. Let's see. I like the idea of restarting and reloading the game. Well, we can try that. Let's, I can go to the Space Center. We'll reload, because something's not up there. I mean, those Shibas should be doing more than that. Actually, before we restart the game, let's actually go and analyze the details on the Shiba, because the Shiba engines were kind of a critical part of my design. The critical part of why I built it the way I did was the Shiba engines. Had I not had the Shibas installed, I would have had RTGs. But the Shiba was kind of acting like an RTG. It acts like that, so I thought I'd let it go. So, engine-wise, if I look at the Shiba engine, which is somewhere around here. Just type it in the box, I guess, unless here. So this has a generator is always active. Outputs electric charge 0.5 per second. Alternator output at full power is another... no, it says -5 per second. That's weird. The alternator has a negative. Is that how all of them are? No. The Shiba actually drains electricity when it... Yeah, the Shiba actually drains electricity when you turn it on. If it's just sitting idle, the generator is giving you 0.5, but the moment you start to burn with it, you actually get -0.5. You offset the generator when it's at full power. All right, that tiny little -5, I didn't notice that, but all right. But yeah, that's the details on the Shiba. So it is generating what it's supposed to be. It is generating what it's supposed to be. I'm going to restart the game anyway because it was recommended, but I don't think it's going to change anything. I think that's... Well, I mean, aside from the fact that my other satellite has no battery power and yet it's still on, I think aside from that, this mission's going to be a failure. But we'll try and we'll see what we can do the best we can. But if the power situation remains the way it is, all of them should die pretty quickly. So, like within a day, they should die. So, I'm going to reboot the game and we'll see. That's disappointing. What I could do is maybe redesign the satellites and then relaunch the plane out, get to Sarnus just like I did before. We'll get my aerobrake on, whatever, and then I can start a 5th stream, and we can try and redeploy them. I'll try to match everything the way it was before. And then we can try to redeploy them with, a different design on the satellite so that they keep power. But this is great. This has been so helpful. Like with this stream series has been so helpful because I do need to go to Elu, and I need to put a base on Elu, and knowing just how weak that is super helpful. Like just monument is way helpful. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So I'm probably going to need more RTGs, but we'll see. I'm going to reboot KSP, and it's a good thing I got my beer tonight. If I didn't, then it would be it'd be slightly more stressful than it is. Nobody wants to fail a challenge, especially in a live stream, and I certainly don't. But it's just a miscalculation, and I think this is going to be good for. It's going to be good for everybody who wants to maybe visit Sarnus in their own game. You can learn from my mistakes. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to do several other challenges like this in live streams. Sarnus is not the last challenge I'm going to do. I have several others I want to do. And all of the purpose of all the challenges is going to be to learn what I'm going to have to try and do ahead of time. Because in the Conquering KSP series, I don't save scum. Like in the Conquering KSP series, I don't get to back up. I'm being as honest with it as I can. If a game crashes, I need to redo something if it doesn't save. But I haven't really had any crashes at all since bringing the series back. So I'm pretty excited about the way it is right now. But I think that John, good to see you, man. Stillfeather, how does your KSP not crash? It doesn't crash because I've been very careful with my mod selection. I've done a ton of research. It took me almost 4 months to get the series. It took me more than 4 months, almost 6 months actually. It took me 6 months to bring this series back online. When it crashed on me before. It wasn't the game that crashed. My hard drive crashed, and so I lost a lot of data. There's a video on it. I don't know if the video still exists. I probably deleted those videos already because they were pathetic. But anyway, I put a lot of time, like scores of hours, into getting a mod list that I felt was all-encompassing, that was worthy of the series, and was above all else stable to the point where I didn't have to worry about performance issues and crashing. That's why my game doesn't crash very often. I have had one crash since bringing it back, and I'm pretty sure trajectories is the reason for my other glitching. The other little graphical glitches that I have, I'm certain it's trajectories conflicting with something. So I'm very selective on when I turn trajectories on. It's still installed, but I turn it on only at very select times. But what's this one? Yeah. It helps, though, with the Sarnus Satellite Challenge, it helps that it's a sandbox, because then the mods that I have related to contracts, they don't load. So, like that stuff. And Strategia and, the different tech tree changes and all those other mods, they don't load because they don't need to in sandbox. So, yeah. This right here still loads, but, whatever. It's fine. Extra planetary launch. My life support mods, all that stuff still runs, but a really big performance drain is your contract mods are the biggest performance drain. So, okay. My Oberon is gone. I'm sad. I might get another if this fails. No, I won't. I like, seriously, a lot of you guys probably know what I'm talking about. Long day at work is not the same. My long day at work is not the same as your long day at work, probably. But long day, there's nothing better than just kicking your feet back with a nice cold brew. There's just nothing better than it, man. The first one, anyway. It has diminishing returns. There's a pretty steep marginal utility to beer, but that first one, oh man, it's so good. Okay. let's find the satellite that I launched. Did it not save? It did save. Yeah, this is gone. Where is it? I've lost my satellite already. Unless it's really, really close. It is. It's really, really close. It's this one here. Which I can no longer see it. Like, I can't click on it because it doesn't exist. It's there. You can see the line. But I'm not able to actually click it. So I'm going to have to try and find it. Which is going to be pretty difficult, I would think, considering this is space, and that's a very tiny satellite. Okay, then. I have no idea where it is. KERBAL alarm clock has no alarms, which tells me that there's no maneuver scheduled for that thing. So I kind of need to find that, and it's not letting me... Like, it's right here. The line goes up to it, but the icon is not visible. I can't click it. Oh, wait, there it is. It's above me. Wait. There. It's still within physics range. There we go. Okay, that was easy. Okay, so you can see electricity still draining, 0.04. 0.04 per second is what we're draining right now. This is real time, by the way. This is nice. Frame rates are real time. This is 60 FPS. Very cool. The stream tonight, if you're just joining us, is 1080p, 60 frames per second. I want to see if this works. I would much, much rather prefer to stream 1080p 60, but a lot of times my internet just simply says no to me and doesn't let me do it. I have a lower bitrate tonight in hopes that this will be smooth. So if the stream is smooth and you're not noticing any buffering problems, let me know. Okay, so you guys use RSS, RO, RP0. Yeah, that's my next series, by the way. I'm doing a realism overhaul after this. At Sarnus, you can get 0.0117 times the power from solar panels. 0.0117 times the power from solar panels. Okay, well, that pretty much takes care of that then. So the challenge we're going to mark this challenge as a failure, but we're going to see if we can make it successful anyway. It's a failure purely because of my my judgment, and my own engineering was not sufficient to keep the satellites powered on while they were orbiting Sarnus. So it's completely my fault. I'm not generating enough power. We can look at Ampere one more time. Show the parts for Ampere, and you can see that we're able to produce 0.581 power, but we're using 0.62. And notice the Shiba rocket generator, yep, 0.5, so it is working. It's just that these solar panels, I anticipated these getting more than 0.02, you know? Like, if 0.1 at least, you know? But in fact, if these solar panels, if these ones right here were able to get 0.03 power per second each, that would give me an additional 0.04 power. And as you can tell by our electric charge and how much we're draining, that would actually put me at net neutral. That would actually zero it out, and we wouldn't be losing or gaining anything. If they would each just generate 0.01 more, we'd be totally fine. So it's miscalculation, I guess. And then the other satellites that have the big dishes on them, there's more panels for those because I needed to offset more power. But again, I miscalculated how much or how little power a solar panel would actually get around Sarnus. Okay, let's get a maneuver going. Oh, we already have the maneuver. So let's just tell it to execute, and we'll see if it does it. Point to the node and execute next maneuver. I doubt you'll do it, but let's see if you do. You know, we'll see if you do. So that will be in the flight computer for that satellite. Let's let that actually get entered before we go to the other, before we go back to the plane. Let's let that actually get in there and enter. Okay, so there you go. This thing's going to lose more power now. I don't think it would have mattered. There's no way it would have stayed. There's no way it would have kept its power around Sarnus anyway. So let's do another satellite before this whole big thing here runs out of power. I'm thinking I'm going to do the big dish last. Well, I don't think I have a choice, actually. The way these are nested in here, I think I have to do the big dish now. Yeah, I do. And it's really nested in there, so it's... Again, I was hoping that these would eject these things a little bit faster than they are. But they don't seem to be. Now, here's the problem. No, not a problem yet, but it might be a problem if I forget to do something. Let's F5 this, so I don't forget. And I'm going to take and get this. I mean, I guess I could activate the engine. There's no harm in doing that. I'm going to activate the engine, I guess. Then we'll decouple this. And then I'm hoping... flight computer, can you join me, please? Thank you. So, with the flight computer open, I'm going to time accelerate a little bit, just a couple of minutes. That should be good enough. Then we'll tell this to deploy the solar panels. Extend all solar. Okay. So let's see what we can do about this. So engine will activate. What? No, not activate, you silly thing. What? You just turned on as an engine. The engine turns on without the thrust up, without the throttle up. What? The throttle is just like completely down and the Shiba's like... Well, I guess that's one way to get it away from the ship. I guess that works. I'm glad I put that and the decouple stage so close together. Or the command so close together. Okay, so I need you to get your omnidirectional out, please. Because that ship right there doesn't have any signal at all right now. So activate. And then once that activates... Actually, it's possible it does, but I don't think it does. It does. Right, how does it have it? Is it getting it from the other omnidirectional? It's possible. The other... No, because it burned. It burned, and it's within the rings right now, so it shouldn't be. Again, I don't know how this vessel has a signal right now. I have no idea. That doesn't make any sense. There's no dish in this. All there is an omnidirectional, and it has a 1.5 million meter range. And there's no way we are 1.5 million meters away from that other satellite. That other satellite is within the rings, so there's no way we're that close to it. There's Ovok. That's cool. I like seeing Ovok. That little satellite right there. It's cool. Okay. Lots of things that are weird right now. We should be failing this royally, and instead we're only failing it minorly. We're like barely surviving. I'm going to make Duna the target for this satellite, because that seemed to work last time. Moho would have worked too, but Duna's like right behind the sun. So Duna works really well as a target here. And then I want you to face target prograde. No, target retrograde, sorry. Target retrograde, that would, because you have a big dish, that's going to get in the way. So target retrograde would put you facing directly away from Duna, which would give your solar panels the best possible view of the sun, as good as that actually does us. As much as that actually helps it. Look at this. This engine's not even activated. Like, it burned out of the like, it was on. It burned itself to leave the cargo bay, but it's actually not activated. You can see it. It's not even staged. Like, how does it even turn on, you know? No idea. I'll activate the engine anyway. Thrust is all the way down. It has been the whole time. Okay, time accelerate. Let's get this stuff going. You're out. That's good. Communitron 32 deploy. Good. All right. Duna's the target. Set. And I want you to hold target prograde first, which is what you're doing now. And then target retrograde. Now you'll flip around, look the other direction. And then I want you to kill rotation. So there we go. Solar panels are going to flip around, and that beautiful reflection. I love window shine. What a great mod. Beautiful reflection. All right. And we're still losing 2.6 power, because the output from these solar panels is 0.02. Yeah. Okay. Will we learn our lesson? I have no idea. But there we go. So this satellite's on. Kill rotation command is going to be in place. Power's dead. Now it says no connection. Oh, so it's actually going to work now. Is that it? Is it actually going to work now? If I put like a 10-minute delay on this, and then I say this. Yeah, you're actually... Okay, so it is actually working now. So it's legitimately dead. Okay. So that means we won't have a signal from it then, right? Nope, no signal from it. Does that mean that our plane is now disconnected? This has no signal. This has no signal. I am unable to switch to the... Oh, there it goes. The plane. And the plane has no signal. So, yeah, that's what it is. That's a really sad ending. Apologies for the ending, guys, but that's it. I think you can tell, though, that if I had engineered these properly, we would have had a good network. I mean, if you think about it, if I would have engineered the satellites knowing how little electric power they actually would have gotten around Sarnus, and this is good information. I like this. I'd really like to re-engineer these and relaunch the plane and get it back to Sarnus and do it right for like a 5th stream. Do you guys want to see that? Do you guys want me to do a 5th where I actually have enough power being generated on each of the satellites? Because if you think about it, like this one right here is in a circular orbit. It's completely circularized. It's ready to go. So if it had power, this one's good. We launched the other one. It has easily enough delta V. There's 1592 left in the plane, so the plane can also become a satellite if it wants to. Satellite's got an omnidirectional mounted on it anyway, or the plane does. And then all of these other satellites can easily get into orbit. Each of them have 800 meters per second of delta V. They could each get into orbit just fine. Given the playing around with, we can play around with, the timings and things, and have to deal with the 8-minute delay. But I mean, other than having to deal with the 8-minute delay, if these satellites had enough power generation on them, if I had designed them with even 0.01 more power on the other satellites, the ones with the dishes need at least a full 3 electric charge per second. But even then, the ones with the satellites on them, I just throw 4 RTGs on it, done. Piece of cake. So I think if we do that, I think if we do a 5th stream with the satellites corrected, I think we'd be in better shape, So let's try this. I'm gonna go to the Space Center. We're gonna call it what it is. Mission fail. We gotta call it what it is. But I think it was very close to success. If I had engineered the problem wasn't the SSTO. The SSTO got to Sarnus, right? We engineered a great plane. It got to Sarnus. It did a good job. With plenty of fuel to spare. With the aerobrake, unfortunately, it did lose its wings very quickly in the aerobrake. I had originally intended to try and get the plane back to Kerbin, but I think that was a little bit too ambitious, especially considering that once the satellites were gone, the plane would have absolutely needed the solar panels to provide it power, and at that distance, it wouldn't have. But I want to see if there's anything I could do to the satellites to make them better, right? We know how much electric charge we're down. We know how much we have to make up. So each of the interplanetary satellites, the ones with the ComTech on them, each of those is draining at 2.6 per second. So I need to create 2.6 or more per second on each of those satellites. And then each of the other satellites are only losing 0.04. So if I can generate another 0.05, then each of those will be okay too. So let's load the plane. It's this one here. And this plane should have all of the satellites still in them. Yep. So if I add, first off, let's try this. for these ones, I think it's a little bit hard to do it because of the way these satellites are. I've chosen the square solar panels instead of the linear ones like this. So I think instead for this, we can take these off. No, that's not what I wanted to do. And I can put these on instead. Let's just kind of do like maybe like this. What does that look like? Look okay? I think it looks okay. Yep. So let's actually take this whole unit right here. And if I was to make this... but you see now the problem is that it's way too wide. It's going to hit the other satellite. So maybe we can suck these in like this. Hopefully more than that. Or not more than that. Come on. Okay. That's not quite what I want. I want this unit to move. There we go. If I suck them in like that, I don't think they'll break on deployment. I don't think. They won't break there. And that doesn't interfere with this. Okay, that doesn't interfere with that. So if I apply this to each of the other satellites, it should be okay. So let's take this off. No, I want this tool. And by the tool, I mean grab. Let's replace that with this. Right? And then we're going to do something different with the Comtex. Let's replace all of the other little ones with... Now, I can't do it with all of them because some of them are actually science satellites. Does this not have a probe? Did I launch this without a probe? I don't think I did, but I suppose it's possible. These are science satellites, so I'm going to have to do these manually. Because I don't want to have to... I only have to do one of them, but I still have to do them differently. So if I bring them down into like this, about like that, and then we do the whole symmetry thing again. No. Like, no. Like, oh my god, you stupid thing. Why are you doing that? That's my symmetry. Every time I go to make a symmetry mode on this thing, it always goes back to radial. I want you in this mode, please. Oh, you are silly. Okay. New plan. That's stupid. Take that probe off. Dump this. Come over here. Put that there. Take this probe off. Bring the other probe over. And put it down. Take this whole probe. Put it over here. Suck on that, stupid tools. Alright, so I've added, in this case now, what I've done is I've added 2 additional solar panels to each one of these. Each one of those 2 additional ones will produce 0.02 power. We saw that. So that should offset it enough to where they don't die. However, it's probably a good idea to go just a little bit further than 0. May have something that's net positive. So if there is a very small RTG, I can throw that on there too. I want like a really small one. Is this the really small one? It's really kind of big, actually. Is this the smallest they have? That's pretty large too. Ah, the miniature. Here we go. It's still pretty big, but if I put it on the top, it should probably be fine. Let's take this science equipment off. We'll just leave that experiment at home. Now, if I put this RTG on here, on the very top, that is going to produce what? 0.4. Okay, so just that alone would have been enough. On those little satellites, just putting this little miniature RTG on there would have been enough to satisfy it. So that's how close we were. It's pretty close. We'll do the same thing to this one. That does 0.4, which is really good news because I need to fix these satellites. Now these ones with the Comtex, yeah, these RTGs are actually not very well placed because the ComTech is now... I need to move this up. Which is a bad deal because then I don't think the cargo bay can close. But I can try. Can I not click that? I can't click that. Darn it. Okay. It's not letting me click that. I can get this, I can lift this up, but I can't click that platform. I can't click that right there. Right here, structural panel. Grab that. There it is. Okay. So let's bring the structural panel back, if I can. Yeah. Could you kindly lay flat for me, please? No? Okay, you can go away then. Bye. Structural panel. 1 by 1 is what I want. Where's the 1 by 1? Right here. Yeah, lay flat like that. Thank you. No, you're not the right one. You don't have the point on the top. Which one has the point on the top? There's a 1 by 1 that has the point on the top. I know there's one that exists. I was just using it. It's the one I just clicked on and had to get rid of. This one. There we go. Okay, so let's get this right about probably there. Does it still protrude through that? No. It does on this side. Well, we have a little bit of room on this side, so how about we just take and move this instead? Kind of like that. There we go. That works. Works for me. I also could probably move this a tad bit more to the side here to make it a little more even. Okay, so now with these satellites, we need a lot more with these. So what I'm going to do for these is I'm going to tuck 4 of those RTGs up underneath the dish. Can I tell it to point? No, I can't tell it to point camera in this, so I'm going to have to just kind of do one of these numbers, I guess. Really want to get into the cargo bay here. There we go. I'm going to stick 4 of those RTGs right up into underneath this dish. So this one does 0.8 per second. So if I put you in symmetry mode, so there's 2 of you, right like this. Okay. That does quite a bit. Then I'm going to get you right underneath the dish. Get you right up in there like this. So that right there takes care of 1.6. Which is pretty good, I think. Let's also rotate them just slightly because they're not looking too hot there. I want them to kind of go around the satellite, not through it. Well, I don't really have a choice. I do have a choice. I don't want them to go through it like this. So maybe like that. Okay, so that takes care of 1.6, and that's a 1.6 constant. So now what I need to do is figure out how much power these ones are doing. These are the OX4L 1x6 photovoltaic panels. That's these right here. These are supposedly going to do 1.6 per second, but as we know, they actually do 0.02. So if I was to replace 6 of these, which normally generates 13? Close. I know I'm close. Would normally generate... no, I'm not close. It normally would generate just over 10. So if that's the case, I should be able to replace 2 of those with just the regular stock one's probably fine. This one's supposed to do 30 per second. So if I just put this underneath it instead, that should be more than enough power, right? And it's a little bit big. be honest, I don't think that's going to work very well, but I think it's too big. Yep, it is. Okay. This one does 24 per second. How big is that? It's borderline big. We might be able to get away with it. Might be able to get away with this one. If I lift it up enough to where it clears the cargo bay, but not so high that it, like right about here, that does not go through. No, it doesn't go through the dish, and it doesn't go through the cargo bay. It doesn't touch the cargo bay, so that's good. So those two on this should take care of our power for the other satellites. And let's actually get you replaced on here as well. In fact, instead of going through all the trouble of redoing that, why don't we instead just pick you up, and we'll go ahead instead and just copy you over to here. There we go. Everything looks fine there. Yep. Now, the last thing to do... Oh, no, this is going through the cargo bay now. It's because this panel is actually not... the panel's not raised up, so I need to click the panel. There we go. And then raise the panel up. There we go, right there. Yep. Raise the panel up. There we go. Now it's visible, but whatever. Now the hope is that with those panels visible, I can still close the cargo bay. That's the hope. Crossing the fingers. Oh. Look at this. Look at this. This nonsense here. I have a small solution to that. We are just going to suck it into the probe a little bit more until it goes away. Boop. Gone. And same thing here. And goes away. Boop. All right, cool. Let's check the placement of the omnidirectionals. Yeah, see, now that I've sucked that down further, the omnidirectionals need to be repositioned. And if I reposition them that way, they're going to get in the way of the solar panels. So let's also rotate it to be that way. And that should do it for that one. And this one, yep, it's definitely going to hit the dish. So let's bring it down. And then I'm going to rotate it again to be that way. Okay. Now hang on. Now if I do it that way, it's going to end up hitting this satellite. And I have to release this before I release this because of where the dish is. So this one actually can't be here either. Maybe we need a new home for you. How about down here? And then if I bring you down here, you're right with the solar panels now, though. So I need to make sure if you extend, you're not going to be in the way of the solar panels. Thing is, you're going to have to extend perfectly to not be getting hit. What about like right through here? Actually, that might be doable. If I put you right here and then extend you this way or rotate you this way. Like that. That should be fine, right? I think so. Okay, double checking. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's rotate this one up just ever so slightly, just because. That'll do it. No, it won't. It's too far. There. Okay, so that's it. That's all I would need to do to fix this. This is ready to launch again, and this time it won't run out of power. So I am going to send this plane to Sarnus again. I'm not going to do it live because it takes too long, but I'm going to send this plane to Sarnus again, and I'm going to get it to where we're on approach, you know, getting close to Sarnus on approach. Then, let's save the craft actually, if I save it. If I save this, and then I relaunch it from the save that I have, that way I'll still be in the proper launch window. Otherwise, I'm going to have to wait like, I don't know what it is, like 8 years or something for Sarnus to be in the right position. It's probably not that long, but I have to wait a while. So if I instead, I have the craft saved. If I go to load game, I should be before time Excel, quick save, stats ready for deployment. I don't know. Ready to rock. I think that's what it is. I don't know. Kels98, thank you for your subscription, buddy. Appreciate it. I don't think this is the right day. It says year 1, day 74, so maybe it is. 3 flights in progress. That would be the satellites. That's not enough. I'll just relaunch it. I'll wait for another launch window and just do it. That's fine. Yeah. That's what I'll do. So thanks for watching my streams, guys. I really appreciate it. I will get this back to Sarnus, get it onto the point where we are going to be getting captured by Sarnus. Or in other words, I'm going to get it to the point where we have a rendezvous. We're in Sarnus' sphere of influence. We're about ready to start our aerobrake. And at that point, that's where I'll start the next stream. Because if I get it to the point where we have an aerobrake, then from there I can start working on deployments. And we will definitely have enough power now. The 2 extra RTGs should produce an extra 0.8 each. That would be 1.6 electric charge. In that case, I only need an additional 1 electric charge per second in order to keep that satellite online. Instead of having solar panels that are normally capable of doing about 10 electric charge, I now have satellites that are capable of doing 60. So that should be more than enough to compensate for an additional 1 in need. So I think that's it. I think that's okay. Thiago's saying I should put RTGs to the plane itself. I like this idea. I will do that as well. And we will continue from there. So I appreciate you joining me. Join me next time. I don't know when that will be. Keep an eye on the channel page, upcoming live streams. Also join the Discord if you want to know when things are coming on. You can follow me on Twitter at HotTipsMedia. I make announcements for live streams there as well. Facebook.com/HotTips is a good place to get information. HotTipsMedia.com, of course. Pretty much all sorts of things. Whole bunch of links in the description down below. You can stay informed. You can get involved. You can subscribe. You can help the channel grow. You can do all sorts of things to support. And I really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. That's pretty much all I have. I usually do these really long outros. So thanks. That's it. Bye.